I'm going to call the meeting of the Lancaster Neighborhood Vitalization Commission to order. It's 4:01, and the first order of business, Brenda, could you call the roll?
Commissioners Harris.
Here.
Grooms.
Here.
Moulton.
Here.
Stoltz.
Here.
Banks.
Here.
Vice Chairman Dearberry.
Here.
Chairman Sturdivant.
Here.
Sir, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the invocation. We have Joanna Di Giovanna here to give it to us. Everybody, please rise.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You may do that. It doesn't matter. In our faith, there's no protocol as far as that goes. We are allowed to prepare our own prayers, but generally speaking, we use ones that were revealed to us. This particular one is on the prayer for America, and I thought it was particularly appropriate in this particular time period. O thou kind Lord, this gathering is turning to thee. These hearts are radiant with thy love. These minds and spirits are exhilarated by the message of thy glad tidings. O God, let this American democracy become glorious in spiritual degrees, even as it has aspired to material degrees, and render this just government victorious. Confirm this revered nation to upraise the standard of the oneness of humanity, to promulgate the most great peace, to become thereby most glorious and praiseworthy among all the nations of the world. O God, this American nation is worthy of thy favors and is deserving of thy mercy. Make it precious and near to thee through thy bounty and bestowal. This was revealed to the American people in 1912.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Okay. We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is public business from the floor. This is concerning agendized items. This is a time for citizens who would like to address the Lancaster Neighborhood Vitalization Commission on any agendized item. Please complete a speaker card and identify the agenda item you would like to discuss. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Brenda, do we have any speakers today?
No.
Okay, thank you. The next item is the consent calendar. The only item on there is the approval of the Lancaster Neighborhood Vitalization Commission meeting minutes of July 5th, 2011. Do any of the commissioners have any comments, additions, deletions, or changes? If not, could I have a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Stoltz and a second from Commissioner Grooms. Please vote. Okay, the motion carries 7-0. Next item is new business. The first item on new business is a report on the selection of the 2011 Unite projects. We have Patty Garibay from the City of Lancaster to help us through this item.
Thank you, and actually, Jim, if you want to. That's okay, I can get started without him. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm very pleased to be here this afternoon to share the projects that were selected for this year's Unite Lancaster program, which is taking place on September 24th. In total, 6 projects were selected, and we've invited our project managers who will share information about their respective Unite program. The first person that I'd like to call up is Sherlonda Short, who is hosting the Agape Block Party.
Good afternoon. The Agape Block Party is an old-fashioned kind of gathering where people will come together at American Heroes Park We're bringing people together through entertainment for the community, as well as bringing vendors in from various businesses so that they can share with the public products that they have or services that they provide. Last year, we were happy to participate, and we were happy to be selected again this year, having people like the Work Source, different optical companies come out and share and just be able to provide job opportunities or just even information to the public and just bring everybody in one place and have a good time doing it. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to call up Natalie Bodie, who is hosting the Community Weight Loss Challenge.
Good afternoon. I am representing Healthy, Empowered, and Ready to Succeed, which the acronym is HEARTS, and our event is a weight loss challenge. And during that, it's a 12-week period where we will be teaching and bringing in people to teach proper nutrition, exercise. Our target is the youth, but during this event it will include everyone. And we'll also be monitoring the progress throughout the year for each participant. And just our goal is to have Lancaster be part of the Let's Move program, which is a government program supported by Michelle Obama to introduce healthy living in our community. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call up Robert Benitez with the Mural for Equality program.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Robert Benitez, and I sit on the board of the Outreach Center, which is the Antelope Valley's gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender community center. When I first heard about the Unite program and what sort of it could do for a community, I was really impressed and wanted my community to be involved and sort of participate as responsible citizens in what the city of Lancaster has to offer. So what I conceived was a mural for equality, and I believe there's nothing sort of more uniting than that sort of idea or that theme. So what we did the call to artists, and we got four examples, 4 submissions, and what we're currently doing right now is getting those narrowed down so we can finally choose one mural and put that on the side of Mariposa Elementary School, sort of as just a reminder of all the struggles that we've been through and the future. So that's our project.
And finally, I'd like to introduce Joanna Di Giovanna with Unity by Numbers.
Good afternoon again. This is the second year that the local Baha'i Faith in Lancaster has participated in the Unite project, and I'm very excited that Lancaster is providing an opportunity for community groups to do something like this. This particular year, we're doing a project, we call it Unity by Numbers, or Unite by Numbers, similar to Paint by Numbers. That's how we came upon that. What we're doing is painting the house numbers around the community, particularly in neighborhoods that have perhaps larger crime rates, perhaps more people tend to call for emergency vehicles in that area. Also neighborhoods where people have not had their numbers painted because maybe they can't afford it, because I know there are some groups that will go around and charge a fee for it. This is going to be done totally at no cost. We will not accept any donations either. We're pleased that the city is working out ways of providing the paint and supplies to us so that we can do this. We're providing the labor. We plan to do this once a month for 10 of the next 12 months. If we run out of paint before that time, well, we'll work out something and see what happens from that point. When we initially presented the project, we had the thought that we had to get permission from the homeowners to do it, and so we thought, well, we'd be lucky to get 20 home on a weekend to get their permission to do it. I've since been informed that that's not necessary, and so we can just knock off perhaps even 100 numbers in a couple-hour period. And we're looking forward to doing this starting on the 24th, and then we'll be doing it each month thereafter. We have at least 10 people already committed to it, but we have several others involved as well. We're using a pay-it-forward principle as well, because when we do contact any neighbors that are home, we're going to ask them if they would like to join us to help paint their neighbors' curbs as well. That way we can hopefully unite the neighborhood and get others involved besides just us. Also, once school gets started in the Lancaster School District, I have a connection with the middle schools. Mr. Stoltz knows that. Now he knows who I am. Okay. Oh, you did? Okay. Even though I'm now retired, I'm extremely active with the middle school age children, and having taken them for 12 years to Washington, D.C., and with Mr. Stoltz's help, we got to have some wonderful tours there. But now that I'm retired, I still continue to substitute teach, and I'm still I'm a vice chairman of the CJSF, which is California Junior Scholarship Federation, for 5 different counties that I'm involved with. So that's approximately 160 schools, middle schools, here in the Valley. I deal primarily with those that are in Lancaster because that's where I substitute. But I hope to get those students involved as well because their motto is scholarship for service. So right now, like I say, we have 10 to start with. We hope to have this grow in numbers, and we'll have several teams doing this. And again, we appreciate the fact that Lancaster's doing this, and one of our members has passed this idea on to a town that he moved from here last year, and he was so excited about this. He's trying to get some other towns to do the same thing. So thank you.
We have 2 groups that were unable to join us this afternoon, the Elm Avenue Community Garden and Planting the Seeds of Life. They're actually going to collaborate to do a community art and beautification project in downtown Lancaster. So that's another really exciting project. In closing, I'd like to thank our program sponsors, Home Depot, McDonald's, Roundtable Pizza, Signs and Designs, Staples, Target, and Waste Management, who've all graciously donated their time and resources to this year's program. And I'd also like to thank our Safer, Stronger Neighborhoods Committee, who helped in organizing, marketing, and also securing our Unite program sponsors. So with that, I'll answer any questions you might have about the program.
Patty, what about maintenance of some of the things like the mural? Can you answer some questions about that? Or?
We're actually going to work with each of the groups to talk about some of those things. We've had, the success with programs like the Elm Avenue Garden, where the groups have already, they had a plan of action, I guess you could say. So they did their project, and they had a plan of attack. So I think we'll probably do the same thing with all the other groups that require some kind of maintenance, and make sure that things get taken care of, and that we're, being smart about things. We talked about doing having some kind of a graffiti coating, so that that's something that doesn't happen at the mural and things like that. So we're definitely thinking of plan of attack.
Thanks.
Sure.
Patty, I'd like to really compliment you and Kelvin for the terrific work you and your staff have done on this. And I'd also like to compliment a number of commissioners who sat in on the evaluation of these projects. I know Patty was looking for people almost at the last minute to participate in that panel, and a number of commissioners did step forward, and I want to thank them for that. Did you get some volunteers for assistance on the evaluation of the mural?
We do. We actually have Commissioner Harris and Commissioner Moulton. And they now have the submissions and are currently reviewing them. So we should have an answer hopefully by the end of the week. Okay.
And help me with this. I know we received the email about it, or I'm sorry, it was in the city newsletter. What day is the opening of the events?
For Unite?
Yeah.
It's Saturday, September 24th.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay.
Any other questions? Great.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, the next item on the agenda was to be a presentation of a volunteer program that provides a variety of services, including minor rehabilitation and yard cleanup assistance to eligible elderly, disabled, and families. I'm afraid I don't see Jack Boheman of Desert Vineyards Helping Hands Ministry in the audience, so I think I'm going to have to postpone that item. Okay, the next item is the report from the Lancaster Neighborhood Vitalization Commission Public Policy Subcommittee. This is a quarterly update report concerning options available to consider to achieve HUD's goal of deconcentration and a balanced community. Commissioner Groom, Stoltz, and Moulton, would you care to comment about this?
This is an area we've looked at before on a pretty much quarterly basis. We haven't noticed any change, any new initiatives in that area at the state or the federal level since the last report. And we'll come back in early next year in January, and or perhaps February would be the best.
Okay.
After everybody's back in session, and find out what may be going on legislatively.
All righty. Okay. Lee, did we receive a monthly report from LACDC?
No, sir, we did not, and we actually inquired as to why we hadn't received that report, and the Board of Supervisors office as well did not receive a report for the last 2 months.
Is there any explanation?
I believe that based on some of the current issues that are related to that relationship with that program, they're in stand down at this point.
Okay. The information contained on that report seems rather innocuous. It just seems to contain a series of numbers, and so I'm very puzzled why that would not continue to be provided by them.
What I can do, sir, is I can actually inquire officially and get an official statement from that agency, and I can provide that to you to disseminate among the commission.
Yeah, I did get word that Emilio Salas will be here next month to give us a report that he's promised concerning the fair market rents within the city of Lancaster. So hopefully we can double up with that item.
Well, if that's your pleasure, that's who I'll direct my inquiry to.
Okay.
And then I'll give you the response.
Okay. I appreciate that. Sir. Okay. This is going to be a very short meeting. The last item on the agenda is brief discussion of next month's possible agenda topics. I can tell you with the issue of the Housing Authority kind of sitting on the sidelines while other matters are being dealt with at the present time, the chair is looking to commissioners for some suggestions for items on the agenda. And one of those avenues we might consider pursuing, and I'd hope Helping Hands Ministry would be here today as an example. I think there's a number of community groups that you may be involved with, and some of these community groups could come forward and present what they do in the community, whether they're looking for volunteers or looking to assist certain segments of the population. And we are a publicly aired meeting, and I think it would provide an excellent opportunity for organizations such as that to get the word out to the residents of Lancaster. So I'm going to ask each commissioner to give that some thought, and in the next couple weeks, please email me, because again, the agenda is going to be very light without some other actions moving forward at the present time.
Commissioner Banks and I can give an update on the neighborhood impact homes as well. This month, I mean, school's just starting, so there isn't a whole lot to report right now. I know they did do some summer activities and whatnot. They have a painting day coming up next month where they're going to be painting some homes and schools and things. So maybe we can give a report next month on that.
That'd be good. Okay, the final item on the agenda is public business from the floor. This is on non-agendized items. We request any person who would like to address the Lancaster Neighborhood Vitalization Commission on non-agendized matters to complete a speaker card, and you will find speaker cards on the back table of the council chambers. Additionally, we respectfully request that you fill the cards out completely and print as clearly as possible so that, if necessary, the commission or city staff will be able to contact you either by phone or mail. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. When you approach the podium, please notice there are 3 lights. The green light comes on when you begin, The yellow light will come on when you have 30 seconds remaining, and the red light will come on when your 3 minutes are up. We ask that you be considerate of the allotted time to allow other speakers to have their 3 minutes as well. Following this procedure will allow for a smooth and timely process for the Commission meeting, and we appreciate your cooperation. State law prohibits the Lancaster Neighborhood Vitalization Commission from taking action on items not on the agenda, and your matter will be referred to staff. Brenda, do we have any speakers?
Yes, sir. Mr. Gary Burgess.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name's Gary Burgess. I live over by the old fairgrounds on Sandcroft there. I'd just like to comment on the Unite program. Last year, my wife and I was the recipient of 3 of the awards, I guess you call it, and one was the trash can decals supplied by Waste Management to kind of bring a point to the drivers that, hey, you need to slow down. And I think it's helped in the past year that we've had those on there on Sandcroft. And then the other one was a house painting project, which I carried out for approximately 50 houses in that area bordered by 5th Street East and 7th Street East and H8 down to H14. And I'd like to, I've already thanked a few people before, but I'd like to say again, and thanks to Kelvin for his support, and Megan, and for Lee Dorico for the efforts they put in to make the block party come off good, and just in general all the efforts that they put out there. I guess that's about all I have to say. Just like to comment that I think it's a very worthwhile program. I'd like to see it continued here in the city. I think it really, it gets more of the citizens involved with what's going on in the neighborhood. So, and that's important. If we don't be involved in the neighborhood, then somebody else will involve us in one way or the other, if you know what I mean. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I agree with you completely. Okay, if the commissioners have no further comments, I'm going to go ahead and adjourn today's meeting. Thank you very much.